Rich in Every Thought, written and published by Rich Audiobooks. Every thought you have about money is quietly shaping your financial destiny. Right now, as you read these words, your mind is running an intricate program of beliefs, memories, and assumptions about wealth that influence every financial decision you make. Most people move through life completely unaware of their internal money dialogue, never realizing that thoughts like, "I can never afford that," "money is hard to come by," or "rich people are lucky," are actually creating their financial experience. These thoughts aren't just passive observations, they're active architects of your economic reality. Your relationship with money began forming long before you had your first job or opened a bank account, absorbing messages from countless sources that created deep grooves in your thinking. The difference between those who struggle financially and those who thrive isn't intelligence, education, or luck. It's the quality of their daily thoughts about money and possibility. This book reveals how to become a conscious curator of your financial mindset, transforming inherited beliefs of limitation into powerful thoughts of abundance. Your journey to wealth doesn't begin with external strategies or perfect opportunities. It starts with monitoring, managing, and ultimately mastering the thoughts that determine what you believe is possible with money. Every prosperous future begins with a single conscious choice to think differently about wealth, and that transformation starts now. Lesson 1. Monitor your money thoughts. Every thought you have about money is quietly shaping your financial destiny. Right now, as you read these words, your mind is running an intricate program of beliefs, memories, and assumptions about wealth that influence every financial decision you make. These thoughts aren't just passive observations, they're active architects of your economic reality. Think of your mind as a sophisticated financial surveillance system. Throughout your day, it's constantly processing information about money, wealth, and resources. When you pass a luxury car dealership, scroll past a vacation post on social media, or check your bank balance, your brain automatically generates thoughts that either expand or contract your sense of financial possibility. Most people move through life completely unaware of their internal money dialogue. They don't realize that thoughts like, "I can never afford that," "money is hard to come by," or "rich people are lucky," are actually creating their financial experience. These thoughts become so familiar that they feel like truth rather than what they really are, learned patterns that can be changed. Your relationship with money began forming long before you had your first job or opened a bank account. You absorbed messages about wealth from your parents' conversations, your community's attitudes, and countless subtle social cues. These early impressions created deep grooves in your thinking that now automatically direct your financial energy in specific directions, whether toward accumulation or scarcity. The first step in transforming your financial reality is becoming a dedicated observer of your money thoughts. Start paying attention to the immediate mental commentary that arises when you think about your income, see a bill, or consider a purchase. Notice the emotional tone of these thoughts. Are they anxious, hopeful, defeated, empowered? Your emotional response to money situations reveals the deeper beliefs driving your financial pattern. Consider this. When you check your account balance, what's the first thought that surfaces? When you see someone driving an expensive car, what story does your mind create? When you think about your financial future, what images and scenarios automatically play out? These automatic responses form the foundation of your money reality. As you develop this awareness, you'll likely discover that many of your money thoughts aren't actually yours. They're inherited beliefs that don't serve your highest financial potential. Perhaps you're carrying your father's anxiety about retirement, your mother's beliefs about what you deserve to earn, or your culture's limitations about wealth accumulation. The simple act of monitoring these thoughts begins to loosen their grip. When you catch yourself thinking, "I'll never have enough," you create a crucial moment of choice. This awareness allows you to question these assumptions rather than accepting them as unchangeable truth. It's like turning on a light in a room that's been dark for years. Suddenly you can see what's really there. Start treating your money thoughts like valuable data points. When a financial worry crosses your mind, rather than being swept away by it, step back and observe it with curiosity. Where did this thought come from? Is it based on current reality or past programming? Does it support the wealthy life you want to create? This kind of conscious observation begins to transform you from a passive recipient of money thoughts into an active curator of your financial mindset. Your mind will generate thousands of thoughts about money today. Each one is either reinforcing old patterns of limitation or building new pathways to abundance. By monitoring these thoughts with gentle awareness, you begin the powerful process of mental reformation that leads to true financial transformation. Your prosperous future begins with this fundamental shift from unconscious money thinking to deliberate thought awareness. Chapter 2. Catch and Reinvest Lack. The most insidious thing about scarcity thinking is how naturally it comes to us. Like a familiar but toxic friend, thoughts of lack slip into our consciousness without invitation, coloring our perception before we even realize what's happening. A bill arrives, and instantly our mind races to limitation. A friend shares good news about their finances, and our first internal response is to catalog what we don't have. These scarcity triggers surround us daily, lying in wait to activate our lack-based responses. They might appear as news headlines about economic uncertainty, casual conversations about our financial prices, or even innocent questions about our financial goals. Our brains, evolutionarily wired to scan for threats, readily latch onto these triggers and spiral into well-worn patterns of scarcity thinking. Understanding this mechanism is crucial because scarcity thinking isn't just an emotional experience, it creates measurable physiological effects. When we encounter these triggers, our bodies release stress hormones that narrow our focus and limit our ability to see opportunities. Our breathing becomes shallow, our muscles tense, and our creative problem-solving abilities diminish. We literally become less capable of generating abundance when we're trapped in the grip of lack-based thinking. The key to breaking free lies in developing a new response system. Rather than trying to force positive thinking, which often feels inauthentic and temporary, we must become skilled at catching scarcity thoughts in the moment they arise. This requires developing a heightened awareness of our internal dialogue around money. When you notice thoughts like, "I can't afford that," "there's never enough," or "I'll always struggle with money," these are your signals to engage the replacement process. The replacement process begins with a pause, a moment of conscious interruption in the scarcity spiral. In this pause, we create space to question the thought's validity and choose a different perspective. For instance, when "I can't afford that" arises, we can replace it with, "How can I create the resources for that?" This subtle shift maintains honesty about our current situation while opening pathways to possibility. Creating new neural pathways for abundance requires consistent practice and patience. Each time we catch and replace a lack-based thought, we're literally rewiring our brain's default responses. Think of it as creating a new trail through dense forest. The first few passes are challenging, but with repeated use, the path becomes clear and easily accessible. One powerful technique involves anchoring replacement thoughts to physical sensations. When you catch a scarcity thought, take a deep breath while consciously relaxing your shoulders, then introduce the replacement thought. This physical mental pairing helps embed the new thought pattern more deeply into your nervous system, making it more likely to become your automatic response over time. The language we use in our replacement thoughts matters significantly. Rather than just contradicting the scarcity thought, we want to create expansive alternatives that engage our problem-solving abilities. Instead of "I'm broke," we might say, "I'm learning to manage my resources more effectively." Instead of "I'll never get out of debt," we could think, "I'm discovering new ways to create financial freedom every day." As you practice catching and replacing lack-based thoughts, you'll begin to notice patterns in your scarcity triggers. Some might be situational, like checking your bank balance or receiving unexpected expenses. Others might be relational, triggered by certain people or conversations. Identifying these patterns allows you to prepare replacement thoughts in advance, building your resilience to scarcity thinking while strengthening your abundance mindset. The goal isn't to never have a scarcity thought again. That's unrealistic and unnecessary. Instead, we're developing the ability to recognize these thoughts quickly, interrupt their momentum, and consciously choose a more expansive perspective. With practice, this catch and replace process becomes smoother and more natural, creating a strong foundation for the prosperity consciousness we're building throughout this journey. Chapter 3. Think like everything is possible. The human mind rarely distinguishes between what's actually impossible and what's merely unfamiliar. This subtle truth holds the key to financial transformation because most of our monetary limitations exist primarily in our thoughts rather than in reality. When we examine history's greatest wealth creators, we find they shared one fundamental trait. They operated from a mindset of infinite possibility rather than predetermined limitation. Consider for a moment how your financial decisions might shift if you genuinely believed anything was possible. You might approach that business idea with renewed vigor, negotiate your salary from a position of confidence, or invest in opportunities that previously seemed out of reach. This isn't about magical thinking. It's about expanding your mind to recognize and seize real possibilities that your current thought patterns might be filtering out. The brain forms neural pathways based on repeated thoughts and experiences. When we've spent years thinking within certain financial boundaries, these limitations become deeply embedded in our neural circuitry. However, neuroscience shows us that these pathways can be rewired through conscious effort and consistent practice. Each time you catch yourself saying, "I can't afford that," or "that's not possible for someone like me," you have an opportunity to forge new neural connections by asking instead, "How could I make this possible?" Visualization plays a crucial role in possibility thinking. Athletes use visualization to improve performance, and financial visualization works similarly. Spend time each day vividly imagining your desired financial reality, not as a distant dream, but as an approaching certainty. Feel the emotions, see the details, and allow your brain to begin accepting this new reality as achievable. This practice helps bridge the gap between your current financial situation and your aspirations by making the path feel more tangible and accessible. The what-if exercise serves as a powerful tool for expanding financial possibilities. Rather than asking, "What if I fail?" or "What if I lose everything?" shift to questions like, "What if this succeeds beyond my wildest expectations?" or "What if money flows to me easily?" This simple reframing opens neural pathways to recognize opportunities that align with these expanded possibilities. Your brain begins actively searching for evidence to support these new, more empowering questions. Real financial transformation often occurs when we challenge our assumptions about what's possible. A single mother might assume building wealth is impossible with children to support until she discovers ways to leverage her parenting experience into a profitable business. An employee might believe their income is capped by their industry standards until they create an innovative solution that disrupts the entire market. These breakthroughs happen when we dare to think beyond our perceived limitations. Possibility thinking requires regular maintenance and reinforcement. Create a possibility journal where you write down expansive financial ideas without judgment. Let yourself explore concepts that seem outlandish at first. History shows us that yesterday's outlandish often becomes tomorrow's normal. Document instances where you or others have exceeded financial expectations, building a personal evidence bank of possibility. Thinking in possibilities doesn't mean abandoning practical considerations. Rather, it means approaching practical matters with an expanded sense of what's achievable. Instead of starting with limitations and working within them, start with possibilities, and then determine the steps needed to realize them. This subtle shift can transform how you approach everything, from daily spending decisions to long-term wealth creation strategies. Your financial reality begins to shift the moment you fully embrace the truth that your current circumstances are temporary, and anything is possible with the right mindset, strategy, and action. The wealthy aren't operating with a fundamentally different set of rules, they're operating with a fundamentally different set of beliefs about what's possible. By cultivating this same mindset, you open yourself to opportunities and solutions that may have been invisible to you before. Chapter 4. Filler Life Through Abundance. Every moment of our lives passes through a perceptual filter, a lens through which we interpret and make meaning of our experiences. This filter dramatically influences not just how we see the world, but how the world responds to us. When we consciously choose to install an abundance filter, we begin to notice opportunities, resources, and possibilities that were always present but previously invisible to our scarcity-trained eyes. Creating an abundance filter starts with understanding that abundance isn't just about money, it's about recognizing the fullness that already exists in every aspect of life. Notice the abundance of air you breathe, the countless thoughts your mind can generate, the infinite combinations of words you can speak, the boundless love you can give and receive. This recognition creates an energetic foundation that naturally extends to your financial world. Training yourself to see through an abundance lens requires daily practice. Start each morning by asking yourself, where is abundance showing up in my life right now? Perhaps it's in the multiple choices of clothes in your closet, the various routes you could take to work, or the many ways you could invest your time today. This simple practice begins to rewire your neural pathways, making abundance recognition your default setting rather than a conscious effort. The abundance filter works like a magnet, attracting more of what you focus on. When you consistently acknowledge the resources available to you, you become more attuned to spotting additional resources and opportunities. A person with an abundance filter might walk into a room and immediately notice potential connections, business opportunities, or valuable information to be gained. The same room, viewed through a scarcity filter, might only trigger thoughts of what's missing or what you can't afford. Gratitude plays a crucial role in maintaining your abundance filter. However, this isn't the passive gratitude of simply saying thank you. It's an active appreciation that recognizes the multiplicative nature of abundance. When you're grateful for the money you have, you're simultaneously acknowledging its potential to grow and create more value. This perspective transforms gratitude from a mere appreciation of what is to a powerful attractor of what could be. Your abundance filter becomes stronger through regular testing and challenging. When faced with a financial challenge, train yourself to ask, what resources do I have available that I haven't considered? This might reveal skills you could monetize, assets you could leverage, or networks you could activate. The abundance filter helps you see beyond the obvious to recognize the full spectrum of possibilities at your disposal. The language you use acts as a crucial component of your abundance filter. Notice how often you use phrases that imply limitation or scarcity. Transform "I can't afford that" into "How could I create the resources for that?" Convert "there's not enough" to "there are always more opportunities to generate value." These linguistic shifts aren't mere positive thinking, they're practical tools that expand your perception of what's possible. The most powerful aspect of developing an abundance filter is its compounding effect. As you consistently view life through this lens, you begin to make different decisions, take different actions, and create different results. You might notice yourself naturally gravitating toward people who share this perspective, finding yourself in conversations about opportunities rather than limitations, and seeing potential where others see problems. Your abundance filter isn't just a tool for personal perception. It influences how others perceive and interact with you. When you consistently operate from a place of abundance, you become a walking invitation for opportunities. People are naturally drawn to those who can see possibilities where others see dead ends. Your abundance filter becomes not just a personal tool, but a beacon that attracts more abundance into your life. Chapter 5. Think bigger than bills. Most people live their financial lives in reaction to bills. The mortgage is due, the car payment looms, utilities need paying, and our entire financial mindset becomes shaped by these recurring obligations. We work to cover expenses, celebrate briefly when they're paid, then start worrying about the next round. This reactive cycle keeps our financial thinking small and contained, focused on survival rather than creation. But true financial abundance requires us to think beyond the bill payment paradigm. When we expand our financial vision beyond immediate obligations, we open ourselves to exponential possibilities. Consider how differently you might approach your work, investments, or business decisions if your primary focus wasn't on covering next month's expenses, but on creating lasting wealth. The first step in transcending bill-focused thinking is to separate your creative financial energy from your maintenance financial energy. Maintenance energy handles the necessary expenses of life, and yes, those bills need to be paid. But creative financial energy is where true wealth builds. This is the mental space where you explore new income streams, envisioned investment opportunities, and plan strategic financial moves that go far beyond basic survival. This separation allows you to maintain two simultaneous tracks of financial thought. Track 1 ensures your immediate needs are met, while Track 2 builds your future prosperity. Without this distinction, most people exhaust all their financial thinking on Track 1, leaving no mental energy for wealth creation. The wealthy, however, dedicate significant mental resources to Track 2, even while efficiently managing Track 1. Expanding your financial thinking requires regular practice in stretching your monetary imagination. Instead of asking, "How will I pay this bill?" ask, "How can I create 5 times what this bill costs?" Rather than thinking about saving a few dollars here and there, contemplate how to generate thousands in new revenue. When you encounter a financial challenge, train yourself to see it as an opportunity to create rather than an obligation to meet. Your brain naturally gravitates toward what it perceives as realistic based on past experience. If you've always lived paycheck to paycheck, your mind will resist larger financial visions as unrealistic. Override this limitation by deliberately engaging with bigger numbers and bolder financial concepts. Study wealth creation strategies, even if they seem currently out of reach. Familiarize yourself with investment vehicles and business models that deal in larger sums than you're used to handling. This expanded thinking naturally leads to expanded action. When you stop limiting your financial thoughts to bill payment, you start noticing opportunities you previously missed. Your brain, freed from the constant stress of survival thinking, can engage with creative solutions and innovative approaches to wealth building. You might discover that the energy previously spent worrying about bills could be better invested in developing a side business or learning about market investments. Bills represent the minimum financial engagement required to maintain your current lifestyle. They should never represent the ceiling of your financial thinking. Every time you pay a bill, use it as a trigger to think bigger. Let your electricity bill remind you to brainstorm passive income sources. Allow your rent payment to inspire thoughts about real estate investment. Transform these routine obligations from stress points into launching pads for expanded financial vision. The wealthy don't ignore their bills. They simply don't let bills dominate their financial consciousness. They maintain a broader perspective, where regular expenses take their proper place as one aspect of a much larger financial picture. By elevating your thinking beyond the bill payment cycle, you create mental space for abundance to flow and for wealth to grow in ways that transcend your current financial reality. Chapter 6. Choose the millionary version of the story. The stories we tell ourselves about money shape our financial reality more powerfully than any external circumstance. When faced with a financial challenge, most people default to a narrative of victimhood, limitation, or bad luck. But wealthy people instinctively choose a different version of the same story, one that empowers, teaches, and opens doors to greater abundance. Consider two people facing an unexpected car repair bill. The first person might tell themselves, "This always happens to me. Just when I'm getting ahead, something breaks down. I'll never get out of this cycle." The second person, operating from a millionaire mindset, crafts a different narrative. "This is an opportunity to upgrade my vehicle maintenance strategy. I'm grateful I have the resources to handle this, and this experience is teaching me to build a more robust emergency fund." The millionaire version of any story focuses on opportunity, learning, and growth. When a business deal falls through, the wealthy mind doesn't dwell on rejection or failure. Instead, it asks, "What connections did I make in this process? What did I learn about market dynamics? How can I refine my approach for an even better opportunity?" This reframing isn't about positive thinking. It's about choosing the most empowering and actionable perspective available. Wealthy people also narrate their financial journey through the lens of agency rather than circumstance. They don't see themselves as passengers in their financial life, but as active authors of their prosperity story. A setback becomes a setup for a comeback. A market downturn becomes a buying opportunity. A job loss becomes the catalyst for entrepreneurship. This narrative choice isn't denial of reality. It's a strategic selection of the most advantageous viewpoint. The language patterns of the financially abundant reveal this distinctive storytelling approach. They speak in terms of when rather than if, how rather than whether, and already rather than someday. Their internal dialogue consistently reinforces their role as creators of wealth rather than recipients of fortune. This subtle but powerful shift in narrative perspective creates different emotional states, different decisions, and ultimately different financial outcomes. To develop this millionaire storytelling ability, start with your current financial situation. Whatever the circumstances, ask yourself, how would someone who is destined for wealth tell this story? If you're in debt, the millionaire version might focus on the valuable lessons in money management you're gaining, the motivation it provides to increase your income, or the foundation it's creating for your future financial wisdom. If you're starting a new business, the story might emphasize the powerful network you're building, the market insights you're gathering, or the inevitable success that each challenge brings you closer to. Your prosperity autobiography, the story you tell about your relationship with money, should be consciously crafted. Instead of letting circumstances write your story, take control of the narrative. When you receive an unexpected bill, make it a chapter about your resilience. When you face a financial decision, make it a story about your growing wisdom. When you encounter a wealthy individual, make it a tale about expanding your possibilities. The financially abundant know that every event in their money story serves their ultimate success. They don't waste energy on regret, blame, or wishful thinking. Instead, they immediately look for the advantage, the lesson, or the opportunity hidden within each experience. This isn't just positive thinking, it's strategic narrative construction that creates real-world results. Practice telling the millionaire version of your money story until it becomes your default perspective. Notice how this shift in narrative changes your emotional state, your decision-making process, and your actions. Your brain begins to filter reality through this new story, finding evidence to support your tale of inevitable prosperity. The wealthy version of your story isn't a fiction. It's simply the highest truth available to you, the version that serves your growth and abundance most powerfully. Chapter 7. Wealthy Thinking is a Habit. The transformation of your financial mindset isn't a one-time decision. It's the result of consistent, deliberate practice that reshapes your neural pathways. Just as an athlete's muscles respond to regular training, your brain adapts to repeated patterns of thought, gradually making wealthy thinking your default mode of operation. The science behind habit formation reveals that our brains create neural pathways through repetition. When you consistently engage in prosperity-focused thoughts, you strengthen these pathways until they become your brain's preferred routes. This process, known as neuroplasticity, means you can literally rewire your brain for wealth consciousness through daily practice. Your wealthy thinking habit begins the moment you wake up. Instead of reaching for your phone to check your bank balance or worry about bills, start with a prosperity affirmation. This could be as simple as, "Money flows to me easily and abundantly," or as specific as visualizing your investment portfolio growing. The key is consistency, making this practice as automatic as brushing your teeth. Throughout the day, create trigger points for wealth-conscious thinking. When you buy coffee, practice gratitude for the abundance that allows this small luxury. When you receive money, no matter how small the amount, acknowledge it as evidence of the universe's endless supply. These micro moments of prosperity awareness compound over time, building an unshakable foundation of wealthy thinking. The 21-Day Wealth Consciousness Challenge serves as a powerful catalyst for habit formation. Each day, engage in 3 specific practices: morning visualization of your ideal financial state, midday gratitude for current resources, and evening reflection on the day's abundance experiences. Document these practices in a prosperity journal, noting how your perception of money situations begins to shift. Your wealth consciousness muscles grow stronger through deliberate exposure to financial opportunities. Make it a habit to read financial news with an eye for possibility rather than fear. Study investment options not with anxiety about loss, but with curiosity about growth potential. When you encounter wealthy people, practice seeing them as proof of what's possible, rather than sources of comparison or resentment. Track your progress through both tangible and intangible markers. Notice how your automatic responses to money situations evolve. Perhaps you no longer flinch when bills arrive, or you find yourself naturally considering investment opportunities that previously seemed out of reach. These subtle shifts indicate your wealthy thinking habit taking root. Advanced practitioners of wealth consciousness develop what might be called a prosperity reflex, an instantaneous reframe of any situation through the lens of abundance. When faced with an unexpected expense, their first thought isn't, "I can't afford this," but rather, "How can I create value to cover this and more?" This reflex becomes stronger with each conscious repetition of wealthy thinking pattern. The most powerful aspect of developing wealthy thinking as a habit is its compound effect. Just as compound interest grows money exponentially, compound thinking multiplies opportunities exponentially. Each prosperity-focused thought creates a ripple effect, attracting similar thoughts and opportunities until your entire mental landscape transforms into a garden of abundance. The integration of wealthy thinking into your subconscious mind happens through consistent, intentional practice until it becomes your natural state of being. This isn't about forced positive thinking or denial of financial challenges. It's about training your brain to automatically seek abundance-based solutions and opportunities in every situation. Through daily dedication to this practice, wealthy thinking becomes not just what you do, but who you are. Chapter 8. Surround your mind with prosperity. Your mind is like a garden, and the thoughts you allow to take root there determine your financial harvest. Just as a gardener carefully selects which plants to nurture and which weeds to remove, You must intentionally curate the prosperity influences in your environment. This goes beyond mere positive thinking. It's about creating an ecosystem where abundant thoughts naturally flourish. Your physical space speaks volumes to your subconscious mind about what you believe is possible. Take a moment to look around your current environment. What messages are your surroundings sending about wealth and abundance? A cluttered desk with unpaid bills prominently displays broadcast scarcity. A well-organized workspace with inspiring artwork, vision boards, or symbols of success tells a different story. Consider placing objects that represent wealth and achievement where you'll see them daily, perhaps a small crystal for abundance, images of your dream home, or symbols of your financial goals. The media you consume shapes your financial reality more than you might realize. Every news headline, social media post, and conversation about money leaves an imprint on your prosperity consciousness. Make a conscious choice to seek out success stories, read books about wealth creation, and follow people who have achieved the financial freedom you desire. Unsubscribe from doom-scrutinizing news feeds that perpetuate scarcity thinking. Replace negative financial content with podcasts, videos, and articles that expand your understanding of wealth creation and abundance. Your prosperity peer group plays a crucial role in maintaining elevated money thoughts. The 5 people you spend the most time with heavily influence your financial beliefs and expectations. Seek out relationships with people who think bigger, dream larger, and take bold action toward their financial goals. This doesn't mean abandoning your circle to include those who can lift your prosperity consciousness. Join masterminds, attend wealth-building workshops, or create your own prosperity discussion group. Create abundance triggers throughout your daily routine. These are physical cues that automatically direct your thoughts toward prosperity. It might be as simple as changing your phone's password to your income goal or placing affirmation cards on your bathroom mirror. When you get dressed, let your clothes remind you of the successful person you're becoming. Make your car rides opportunities for financial education by curating a playlist of prosperity-focused audiobooks and podcasts. The language you hear and use shapes your financial reality. Develop a prosperity vocabulary that reflects abundance rather than lack. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," try, "How can I create the resources for this?" Replace, "That's too expensive," with, "I'm choosing to invest my money elsewhere right now." Your brain responds to the questions you ask it, so make them expansive and possibility-focused. Transform your digital environment to support your prosperity consciousness. Clean up your email inbox, organize your digital files, and create a system that reflects efficiency and abundance. Set up automated reminders for gratitude practices or wealth-building activities. Use your screen time intentionally by following accounts that share financial wisdom and success principles rather than those that trigger comparison or lack. Maintaining a prosperity-focused environment requires regular attention. Just as a garden needs constant tending, your abundance ecosystem needs regular refreshing and updating. Schedule monthly reviews of your surroundings, relationships, and media consumption. Ask yourself if each element is feeding your prosperity consciousness or diluting it. Make adjustments accordingly, always steering toward influences that expand your sense of what's possible. Your environment is either lifting you toward greater abundance or pulling you toward scarcity. By consciously designing your surroundings to support prosperity thinking, you create a self-reinforcing cycle of abundant thoughts, beliefs, and ultimately, results. Every object, relationship, and piece of information in your space is either an investment in your wealth consciousness or a withdrawal from it. Choose wisely and let your environment do the heavy lifting in maintaining your prosperity mindset. Chapter 9. Starve Scarcity, Feed Abundance. Just as a garden flourishes when weeds are removed and nutrients are added, your financial mindset thrives when you deliberately starve scarcity thoughts while nourishing abundance. This process requires conscious attention to what you allow into your mental space and what you actively cultivate within it. Consider scarcity thinking as an unwelcome guest that's overstayed its welcome in your mind. It shows up uninvited, consumes your mental energy, and leaves you feeling depleted. The first step in starving scarcity is recognizing when it appears. Notice the familiar sensations, the tightness in your chest when bills arrive, the automatic comparison of what others have that you don't. These are scarcity's calling cards. When you identify these thoughts, don't fight them. Simply withdraw your attention. Scarcity thoughts are like fires that need oxygen to burn. Your attention is that oxygen. By consciously redirecting your focus elsewhere, you begin the process of starving these thought patterns. Each time you choose not to engage with a lack-based thought, you weaken its hold on your consciousness. The next phase involves actively feeding abundance thoughts, and this requires more than positive thinking. It demands evidence gathering. Start collecting proof of abundance in your life, no matter how small. Did you find an unexpected discount? That's abundance at work. Did someone offer you an opportunity? There's abundance again. Did you have enough to share with others? Abundance is showing up. Building this evidence bank creates a strong foundation for your prosperity mindset. Your language plays a crucial role in this process. Words are the food that either nourishes abundance or feeds scarcity. Replace phrases like, "I can't afford it," with, "How can I create the resources for this?" Instead of, "There's never enough," say, "Money flows to me in expected and unexpected ways." These linguistic shifts aren't mere positive affirmations. They're rewiring instructions for your brain's financial processing center. Take your abundance feeding practice into the physical world. Create designated spaces in your home that represent prosperity. This might be a beautiful money altar, a vision board of financial goals, or simply a clean, organized workspace that reflects abundance. These physical anchors serve as constant reminders of your commitment to prosperity consciousness. Relationship dynamics also influence your scarcity-abundance balance. Notice which conversations and interactions leave you feeling financially contracted and which ones expand your sense of possibility. Begin to consciously cultivate connections that feed your abundance mindset while diplomatically limiting exposure to chronic scarcity talk. Digital consumption patterns matter too. Audit your social media feeds, email subscriptions, and online activities. Do they mostly trigger financial anxiety or inspire prosperity thinking? Curate your digital environment to expose yourself to success stories, wealth-building information, and abundance-minded communities. Unfollow or mute sources that perpetuate scarcity narratives. The practice of gratitude takes on new meaning in this context. Rather than a general appreciation for what you have, focus your gratitude on specific instances of financial flow in your life. Acknowledge every dollar that comes your way, every bill you're able to pay, every asset you own. This targeted gratitude strengthens your abundance awareness while naturally diminishing scarcity's grip. This isn't about denying financial challenges when they arrive. Instead, it's about maintaining an abundance perspective even while addressing practical money matters. When faced with financial decisions or challenges, ask yourself, how would someone with unlimited resources approach this situation? This question alone can open up possibilities you might otherwise miss while operating from scarcity. Chapter 10. Build a thought life that pays. Money follows mindset with unwavering precision. Just as a garden reflects the care and attention of its keeper, your financial reality mirrors the quality and character of your thoughts. Building a thought life that pays isn't about positive thinking alone. It's about constructing a complete mental ecosystem where wealth naturally flourishes. Think of your mind as prime real estate. Every thought you allow to take up residence either appreciates or depreciates your mental property value. When you consciously design your thought life around abundance, you're essentially developing premium mental property that generates increasing returns over time. This involves creating strict zoning laws for your mind, where toxic thoughts about lack and limitation are firmly prohibited, while thoughts of growth, opportunity, and abundance receive premium placement. Your thought life becomes profitable when you treat it like a business portfolio. Just as successful investors diversify their holdings, you need various categories of abundant thinking working in concert. This includes thoughts about current prosperity, future opportunities, creative solutions, and the endless possibilities for wealth creation. Each category strengthens the others, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of prosperous thinking that eventually manifests in your external reality. The most valuable aspect of building a profitable thought life is its compound effect. Every abundant thought builds upon previous ones, creating an ever-expanding foundation for wealth consciousness. When you consistently invest in high-quality thoughts about money and success, you develop what might be called mental equity, an accumulated wealth of prosperous thinking that pays dividends in the form of enhanced opportunities, better decisions, and increased financial acumen. This mental infrastructure requires regular maintenance and upgrading. Each morning presents an opportunity to reinforce your prosperity framework through deliberate thought selection. Rather than letting your mind wander into worry about bills or financial constraints, you consciously direct it toward thoughts of abundance, opportunity, and growth. This isn't about ignoring financial challenges, but rather approaching them from a position of resourcefulness and possibility. Your profitable thought life should include regular mental mastermind sessions where you engage in focused contemplation of wealth creation. During these sessions, you might explore new business ideas, envision expanded income streams, or strategize about investment opportunities. The key is to make these sessions as real and detailed as possible, engaging all your senses in the experience of financial abundance. Just as successful businesses have systems and processes, your thought life needs structured ways to generate profitable ideas. This might involve daily visualization practices, prosperity affirmations, or regular review of your financial goals and achievements. These aren't mere exercises in fantasy. They're practical tools for programming your mind to recognize and act on profitable opportunities. Consider your thought life as an exclusive club where only thoughts aligned with wealth and abundance receive membership. This means being vigilantly selective about the mental conversations you entertain. When thoughts of lack or limitation attempt to gain entry, they are immediately redirected toward their abundant alternatives. This selectivity creates a high-value mental environment where profitable ideas naturally germinate and grow. Building a thought life that pays requires consistent investment in financial education and exposure to new ideas about wealth creation. Your mind should be regularly furnished with fresh concepts, strategies, and perspectives on prosperity. This continuous learning ensures your thought life remains dynamic and adaptable, capable of generating innovative solutions and identifying unique opportunities for wealth. A profitable thought life isn't built in isolation. It thrives through connection with other abundance-minded people who can contribute to your mental prosperity. Engage in conversations that expand your financial thinking. Seek out mentors who challenge your limiting beliefs, and surround yourself with examples of what's possible when you maintain unwavering focus on abundance.